All right, guys, here it is, the Everyday Bag by Purses by Holly, releasing today. I love this bag. Very, very cute. I use glitter vinyl from Mormino, and I'll look up who this vinyl is from. It's very pretty. But you have a nice big slip pocket here. You have a huge zipper pocket here. You have a top zipper closure. And then on the inside, there's tons of room and a slip pocket and a pen pocket. But tons and tons of room. And then there's crossbody strap. Perfect. The Everyday Bag by Purses by Holly. Go get yours. Let's get started. Hi everyone, this is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs. I'm getting ready to record the Everyday Bag by Purses by Holly. It's releasing today. I've made one, but I changed that one up a little bit because I made a mistake. So this one is going to be by the pattern, pretty much. You know, every pattern is meant to be just changed just a little bit. So here we go. You'll see the finished product before this clip. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start with the D-ring connectors, my handles, and the crossbody strap. So here are two D-ring connectors for the crossbody. And these are for an inch piece of hardware. So no secret here, it's just a 2-inch piece folded into the center. And I'm going to use my seam guide, my handy seam guide. Stitch down both sides. This is two connectors. I'm just doing them in one stitch, and then I will divide them in two. Okay. There's two. Let me find my hardware. Two D-rings. Which I will stitch here in a minute. Stitch them closed. Okay, so there's two D-rings for the crossbody. Here are the handles, and I did make my handles an inch longer than she suggests in the pattern. I just like a little longer. So this is some glitter vinyl that I've just been holding on to forever from Lauren Mormino because I just love the color. And so I decided let's just use it today. So it's kind of a aqua, really pretty teal aqua glitter vinyl. It's pretty thick. So depending on what you are going to use it for, you'll have to be a little careful. I don't because of my industrial. I don't have to worry about that really. But I'm making a 3/4 inch strap. And I'm folding it into the center. Then I'm going to clip it together until I get it sewn. So I did one already. So now I have both ready to sew. All right, let's stitch across the bottom of these two, just so they don't move when I go to insert them. Just a quick baste. D-rings for my crossbody. Okay. Now we're going to do the fancy crossbody strap, and I'm using this webbing. It goes perfectly with it. And I'm going to do it with 1 inch. So this is 1 inch, obviously. Let me get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. I'm just going to baste across this so it doesn't move on me. Okay. And then I cut these out with I have a die for these for 1 inch. I have thread everywhere now. And I did put a piece of Decaville Light in the center because this is vinyl. It's not really stretchy, but just as a precaution. And then we're going to add this square ring right on top there. And sandwich that. Make sure you already have your swivel clasp on, and we're going to stitch around that. And I'm going to back stitch. I should have probably tested this with my tension too. Oh no, that looks really good. Okay, good. Perfect. Now I will put some rivets in here, but and I could do it now, I guess. I'm just going to add 2 gunmetal wide rivets. 2 of those. Excuse me. And just keep in mind, sometimes it can be hard to go through webbing and vinyl. So I always use my little dies here. And it goes through them just fine. Beautiful. These are the wide medium rivets that I sell on my website. I just love them. And I'll go press these when I get the other one done. So there we go. Isn't that pretty? I love it. All right, let's do the other part of our strap. Let's grab the slide adjuster. Oh, and I did get a little piece of vinyl. Where did I do with it? Here it is. Just to cover the ends of my strap. She, in her pattern, gives you a really pretty connector for the crossbody. And I would highly suggest that you use it because it really does look nice. Let me get this a little more even. There we go. Okay. So I'm not going to sew that on until I get it sewn on with my slider. Okay. So up and over. And we're going to stitch that. I'm just going to do, I may do a box, but I probably will just do 2 rows of stitches right here. Okay, one more row. Perfect. Let's burn those threads just a little. Okay. Grab your other swivel clasp. And let's add that on. Make sure everything's not real twisted. Up and through. Whoops. Up and through. Oh, no, wait. Hold, please. No. You want to grab this piece. And through that square ring. I always kind of mess that up. Sorry. Up and through, and then up and through our slider, and then we'll add our other swivel with our strap end. Okay, so this is what you have so far. I have stuff in the way here. That piece that we just created here, our slider. And then at this end, we're going to add this other strap end. Same thing with the little piece of Decaville in there. Right in the center. Make sure it matches on the end there. Perfect. Now let's sew that on. Get as close as you can to your swivel. Go straight across. I have my narrow foot on right now, which I have been using a lot lately. And then I'm going to turn and go backwards. Just one stitch is all you need. Okay. Perfect. We'll add a couple of rivets. Okay. And you don't have to use the wide rivets. You can just use regular rivets. I just like the look of the wide. And then our crossbody strap will be done. Okay, I'll go press those. All right, so we're going to take both our zippers. This first one is our longer one, and we're going to measure down 1 inch. There's no real secret about this. Fold that back to the zipper tape where we marked it. And I just am going to pin it. So here's our mark right there. We're going to fold that at that mark right there and bend it back to the zipper teeth. I need to get some new straight pins. Then you just want to make sure that these ends match right there. Then I'm going to just put a few basting stitches there. To keep that where we want it. Okay, now let's do the other side. We'll cut off that extra zipper right here and burn it. There we go. And that is how it looks. It's perfect, actually. Next step. All right, so now we're going to do our front pocket. And the front pocket, depending on the material you use, is left raw. And I don't want that because the back of this glitter is kind of sticky. So I decided I was going to put some of the self-adhesive wallet lining on the back. So that's what we're going to do. That'll make it nice and finished, and it won't be sticky. If you're using leather or something like that, or a vinyl that is a little better, you should be fine. So I'm just going to try and get it on here right. I think it's this way, yeah. Let me pull it up so you can see what I'm doing. And if you have to trim some of it, that's absolutely fine. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so good. See, I have to trim just a hair over here. You don't want this showing because it is raw edge on the front. There we go. Okay, and then at the top, mark down what she tells you to in the pattern, and we're going to fold that down with a piece of double-sided tape. That creates a nice top edge. Okay, and I'm just going to put a couple clips on there as I sew it. And then just top stitch across that edge. This is wallet, self-adhesive wallet lining. You can get on Simply Classic. You can get it on Made in Jupiter. Oh, there's a lot of places actually now are selling it. It's nice. Okay. Just burn those threads just a little. Okay. Now, I think what I'm going to do, no, I'm not going to put it here. Yeah. I was going to put my tag there, but I don't think so. Let's find the center of this and just mark it. Actually, we could clip it because it's going to be on a seam. Just a little tiny clip. Grab one of your front panels. Let me make sure I'm doing it right this time for you guys. Yep. And I already marked all my centers on all my pieces. Oh dear, I just dropped one of my handles, so I'll have to grab it. And we're gonna attach that. And actually, she suggests using a little bit of tape on the sides to keep this in place. And I think that's an excellent idea. Just on the sides. On the bottom, you can clip it, but you don't want it moving around on you. So I'm just using 1/8 inch double-sided tape. So I'm going to clip it first, right there. And then we'll take our tape off. We'll take the tape off. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And then we're going to sew down the side, all around the bottom, and back up the other side. Perfect. And we'll add a couple rivets right in the corners here. Okay, that looks great. Let's add a couple little rivets. And I'm just using regular rivets. Let me see. And I am going to use a little piece of Decaville behind there. Just going to make a hole. Just to give it a little added strength. Perfect. Okay, now let me decide where I'm going to put it. You do not want to go through any of your stitches, so just stay away from your stitching. There's one. Tip. And we'll add our rivet. There's a little thread that needs to be burned right there. Okay, and then I'll add a piece of Decaville. I'm using Decaville Heavy. Decaville Light would probably work too. Perfect. And there you have it. Let me go press this. So we're going to attach our handles now. Measure in from each side and place them where you like them. She wants you to leave a little bit hanging out here. So I'm just going to baste these on. And I separate mine just a little more. But you have to find out what works for you and how wide you want your handles. You're having a crossbody, so you know, these are really just meant for short carries, you know what I mean. And then this one, we're going to repeat that with all 4 ends. Okay, there's one. Grab your other exterior piece and measure in. Kind of hard to see my mark. And then we're going to attach this and decide which one you like the best for up or down on your strap. Yeah. Doesn't really matter on mine, I guess. Okay, and then just make sure your handle isn't twisted. Okay. There's your handles attached. Next step. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is, I did go ahead and add my tag here, and I came down about 1.5 inches from the top. We're going to add the exterior bottom piece. And the seam allowance is the same throughout the pattern, unless she says differently. Okay. And then we're going to turn that and top stitch on the bottom piece with the seam we just created underneath. Oh my. Doesn't that look good together? Oh dear. This iridescent, oh my gosh, I got it at a craft fair. Not a craft fair, you know, a sewing expo. I don't honestly remember where I got it, but isn't that pretty together? I only had just a little bit of enough for this to do that, so I was pretty excited. All right. We're going to add our bottom to our other exterior piece. And I'll do that on fast forward. We're going to add it just like we did the other side. So you might ask me why I didn't put my tag there, because we're going to put a zipper overlay there with a zipper pocket. So That's my story. And let's top stitch that. All right, so take your other piece, your other exterior piece, and find the center at the top. Measure down what she tells you to in the pattern, and this is where we're going to lay our overlay. And I would use her overlay. Her overlay is nice and chunky, which is kind of nice. So you just want to make sure that it's nice and straight. And in retrospect, I should have not added these handles. You know what I'm going to do? Let me mark a line all the way across. That'll probably be good. That would be helpful, Barb. And then I can remove that line. There we go. That'll be helpful, Barb. There we go. Because you want that straight, for obvious reasons. Let's make sure it's straight. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, let's take the tape off the other side and lay that nice and flat. See how nice that looks, though? Okay, we're going to stitch around the outside. Just like any other overlay. I'm going to pull the threads to the back. Just pulling that thread to the back. And stop where we started. Hold on to your threads. And pull that to the back. Even up your threads. Time off. Then we'll cut the center out of that overlay. And actually, before we do any, I think we need to add the, no, we add the interfacing after, sorry. We'll add the interfacing, and I'm using fleece. No, I'm using foam. Get it right, Barb. Okay, there we go. I would wait to add your handle. The directions I'm sure tell you to wait, and I just kind of got ahead of myself. All right, so there we go. Isn't that pretty? All right, now let's get our zipper. Oh, here's a puppy. Here's a puppy. Hold on. All right, so now we're going to do this zipper pocket, and you have two pieces. One is larger than the other, so just be aware. So we're going to take the larger one on the bottom. We're going to lay our zipper right side up with the zipper closing to the left. And I'm just using some tape. And we're going to lay that right across the top and stitch that. And then I'm going to turn it and baste it flat, just like this. You could iron it if you have material that irons well. Either way. And then we're going to repeat that with the other side, which is shorter in depth. Just want to make sure you match the sides and the top. Perfect. And repeat. And let's flatten that as well. Okay, beautiful. Now I'm going to add a little more tape. And we're going to lay it inside our overlay. We're going to close this zipper pocket off. We don't keep it open. It's on the outside, so. Okay. And I'm going to do one side at a time. And it's kind of hard for me to see because let's make sure I have enough room on each side. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, let's take the tape off the bottom. And just get that nice and even. Wow, that went easier, much easier than I expected. I love it when that happens. All right, let's stitch around the inside. You know what? I better check my bobbin. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look, it's a good thing I checked my bobbin. Look what I have left. That's it. Whenever you're doing top stitching, always check your bobbin. It's a darn good thing I did. Okay. Now, I have water right there and it's getting in my way. All right, let's stitch around. Make sure your zipper pocket is nice and flat. And we're going to stitch around the inside. I'll pull those threads to the back. My stitching got off just a little. I can't have that. Oh, please. What happens? And my thread matches so well, I can hardly see it. Isn't that funny? Okay. Take your time to correct little things like this that get off. You don't want those to make your project less than desired, because it will. It'll make it look weird, and you don't want that. I got going too fast. Yeah, it's hard to get it because it's yeah. Jack had to make an appearance. Don't like it. That's okay. It happens. Okay, I'm just going to go back a couple and start there. I'm back stitching. You can't even see this thread at all. I'm shocked. It matches so perfect. All right. Let's try that again. Just go slower, Barbie. There we go. Better. Okay, let me clean that up. The thread there. All right. Oh, did that. It broke my thread. Yeah. Oh, please. Who knows? My thread broke, so we're just going to keep going. Sometimes threads break and you just don't have any idea why. There typically is a reason, but sometimes you don't know. Okay, we're going around the bend. This is a new needle. I may need to change it though. We'll see. Okay. So my thread matches so perfectly. I am not pulling it to the back. You can't even see where I stopped and started. I love that. All right, let's clean this up a little. Okay. So now we're going to pull this down. And stitch on all three sides. Okay, right side up, fold it over, and stitch on all the sides and the bottom. It's a nice big pocket, which is nice. Alrighty, that pocket is done. Let's just burn the edge of our zipper tape. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, that looks so nice. And you have a pretty decent size pocket. All right. Next step. All right, so now we're going to add our interfacing, and I'm using self-adhesive foam. The big key here is, this is pretty thin foam, but you need to stay what she tells you to in the pattern from the top, because this is a fold down. I don't know why this piece is shorter. This will be fine. Let me get that on there a little bit better. There we go. That's better. I would wait to put these handles on until you get your stabilizer on. That would be my suggestion, because it's the glitter vinyl that is a little cumbersome. But I think I would. Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. So stay down from the top, because it's a drop-in. All right. Now, we are going to grab our bottoms. And I did already add my feet to the bottom. This gunmetal on this looks so good. I like it. Now I'm going to do just a row of top stitching, and she tells you to do your top stitching. Yeah, I can barely see that, but I can. I don't know if you can. I'm measuring in 3/4 of an inch. Excuse me. And that should be fine to be able to stitch around my feet. Sounds weird, doesn't it? Stitch around my feet. Okay. I'll pull those threads to the back. Stop where you started. And pull both of those to the back and tie them off. Oh, one of them is pretty short. Perfect. Can you even see that? Barely. Okay, I'm going to get a little rag and clean that off. I don't even think you can see it, but just in case. Okay, perfect. Love it. Next step. All right, so now we're going to add our bottom. Looks good. Centered. And we're going to start and stop at our little notches that the pattern piece has you cut out. These little pieces on the corners. We're going to start and stop at those marks. And we're going to use the seam allowance in the pattern. Let me get the pattern back up here. It disappeared. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Back stitch well. Look at that. It's going to be so nice. Now, you do want to snip into your main piece without snipping your stitches. Just snip barely into that. And I didn't make that quite big enough, so there we go. Okay. Then we're going to add the other side. The other main piece, and do the same thing. And this glitter vinyl sticks to itself pretty good. Almost to a point you don't need clips. Not really. Okay. Hold on a second. All right, let's do this side. Same thing, you're going to snip into that main piece just at that notch. Don't cut your threads. Okay, now we're going to put our sides together. All right, let's do our sides. Match up these seams here. Sorry, it's kind of hard to get that in the picture. This would be a really cute bag in leather. So we're going to sew down the sides. I'm trying to keep this in the picture so you can see what I'm doing. Let's do it. And let's do the other side. Now we're going to box our corners, our bottoms. So because we cut into our main panel, this opens beautifully and matches perfectly. Holly did a great job with this. So just like that. Glitter vinyl probably isn't a good one. It's very stiff. I was desperate to use this vinyl for something I liked, and this was it. So we're making it work. be fine. Okay, let's sew that. Just gonna have to squish stuff. There we go. Just open up your seams. Perfect. Oh, that totally came unsnapped. It's okay. All right. Okay. Now, I am going to trim this just a little. Just a little on the bottom. Just about half the seam allowance. You don't want to do more than that. Oh my gosh, that looks so good in there. Okay, before I do anything, I'm going to measure down. Actually, I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to put some double-sided tape across the top so that when I'm ready to fold it, it stays where I want it. And I'm going to cut in about 1 inch down. And we're going to fold over those seams so they stay nice and open. Just like that. Hard to see. Let's add some double-sided tape on this side. My tape is very sticky. And then just a little piece here. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead and just fold that down. I think she actually tells you to do that anyway. Let me see. Yeah, let's do it. Let me move the camera up here so you can see. There we go. All right, let's fold that down. And I'm going to do some clips here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use my other clips. Let me grab them. Okay. Well, it might help, Barb, if you tape the paper. Off your tape. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn it right side out. I probably should have done that the other way around, but that's okay. Do you guys like sewing with glitter vinyl? I'm figuring that I don't. It's very sticky and very stiff. I don't think I like it. It's beautiful, but I'll be honest, I don't think I like it. I don't have much, so. It's probably better for something small that you're not going to interface. Would be my guess. It looks really good. Yeah, I mean, it looks really good. There's a tiny little thread right there. Okay. Look how I did on my seam. Not too bad, Gord. All right. It's really pretty. Look how pretty that is. I love it. Okay. We can set that aside. Let's do the lining. Let me make sure I'm following. Oh, slip pocket. We need to do the slip pocket. 2 pieces lining. I'm doing the slip pocket just slightly different. I always do my slip pockets like this anymore. So I measure in 3/4 of an inch and fold to that line. It's just, it's so much easier to get some nice good corners when you do it this way, personally. Let me roll those. Okay. Then we'll pull that up, wrong sides together. And we're going to stitch an 1/8 of an inch across the top. Then we're going to add a trim piece. See how nice that is? I love it. Okay. Beautiful. And here's my trim piece, which I did not prep. Draw a line down the center, and we'll add tape on either side. Okay. And I make my line just a little less than half so that when I fold it over, I get a good nice fold over. It's even. Yep, let's top stitch. Trim off the excess. Okay. Beautiful. See these corners? So much better. All right, let me see what she tells us to do. Okay, grab one of your lining pieces and measure up. Find the center of this piece. And I'm going to use some of my Sew Tight magnets. And we're going to center that on here. Perfect. Okay. Then we're going to sew down the side, across the bottom, and back up the other side. Perfect. I am going to make a pen pocket. And I usually make my pen pockets either 2 to 3 inches, depends on the size of the pocket. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to make it like 2.5 from the side seam. Okay. Let's stitch up that. Now you can add rivets here. I don't typically add rivets, but it would look nice. There you go. That looks good. Okay, then we need on the top of each of these, we need to measure over and mark. And on the other one. Okay. Now we're going to grab our zipper. And we are going to, on this piece, we're going to lay it. Oh my goodness, I got too much stuff over here. Right side up. I'm going to add some tape. Yep, I'm going to add some tape between those two marks. Okay. Right side up. Now, if you didn't add your zipper in yet, just put a clip on there. I don't like to add my zipper ends to the very end. Okay, right side up. And tape that on, and we'll baste that on. I may not baste it. I think I'll add another piece of tape, and we're going to add our top piece. Let's do it all in one. Living dangerously. Now when you get down here, we are going to taper that off. So this is our top piece. Center it up after you take your paper off your tape. Yep. And even though I have tape everywhere, I'm still going to clip it. And make sure that my zipper is tapering off at my mark. So right there, yep. And you can clip it down and out of the way. Okay, let's sew that together. And it's the same seam allowance, yes. Okay, I'm getting close over here. I just want to make sure my zipper is out of the way. Perfect. Okay, get these out of here. Then we're going to fold that up and we're going to top stitch on the lining with that seam underneath. And your zipper is going up. Again, keep your zipper out of the way. Perfect. And we're going to repeat that on the other side. Okay. Let's add some tape between our marks. Zipper is right side up. Okay, add some more tape. And we're going to add our top contrast piece. Find your center. And just make sure again that your zipper is tapered off. I'm just going to clip it down here. Okay. And let's stitch that. Fold that over and top stitch. On the lining. All right, let's make sure we didn't twist anything. There we go. So that's what it looks like. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Oh my. Okay, next step. All right, so along the top, measure down and add some double-sided tape. We're not ready to use that yet. And then grab your bottom piece and center that up. The bottom goes on exactly like the outside did. And this is a drop-in, so we're not leaving anything open, which is actually very nice. So we're going to sew between our little cutouts there. And I believe we sew at a bigger seam allowance. Let me just make sure. No, not here. On the sides we do. Back stitch well. Okay, and just snip in without cutting your threads to the main panel, the lining panel. I'm gonna have to clean my scissors. They're kind of goopy. Okay, let's add it to the other side. And stitch between those notches. Snip into those notches. Okay. Then we're going to do the same thing. Stitch our sides. Matching these two seams. I am going to clip my zipper up and out of the way. Now on this seam, we start at one seam allowance, and we do get it. We do increase the seam allowance. Go down about an inch and then start increasing. Okay. The other thing you can do, and I didn't do it over there, is snip this seam just a little bit on both sides so you reduce the thickness. Don't cut your stitches. So right there, snip that a little bit. I don't know why, I always forget to do that. It's really helpful though. So I would encourage you to do it. Okay. Start at one seam allowance. About an inch down or so. Increase. All right, now I am going to also snip in about 1 inch down on both sides. And we are going to open those seams. This process right here makes a lot of difference. It really does. If you can get your paper off your tape. Goodness, Barb. Okay, that didn't even work at all. Oh, please. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. There we go. Fold that open. And just for the time being, I'm going to put a clip right there. Okay, let's repeat that over here. As painful that was, that was. You know, I'm just telling you, sometimes all right, that was painful. Sorry. Okay, now let's, I'm going to trim my seam by about half. Then we're going to box the corners or flatten the corners here. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I'm just going to trim that seam by about half. Let's do this side. Okay. Look how perfect that is. It's perfect. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is. I love it. All right, I'm going to fold my seam, my top seam down, and I'm more than likely going to have to really clip this glitter vinyl. It's okay. It's pretty. It's worth it. Very pretty. Yeah. Trying to keep it in the picture so you can see what I'm doing, but you know, sometimes it's easier to pull things towards you. Actually, let me pull you up here. Almost there. Okay. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look pretty? Let's put it inside our put it inside our exterior. And I'll clip it. I want my slip pocket to be in the back. And then I'll clip it all the way around with using these bigger clips. That'll be a little more successful. There we go. Let's do this side. Mark your seams. And I'm going to find my centers. And let me grab a few more of these. Find your center. That's not my center, so let me do this. Okay, I had to pull it down. Okay, perfect. Fits perfect. Let's do this side. I will be top stitching it on Thor. And I don't want me to forget to put my D-rings in. Okay. Perfect. All right, let's do it. I did put my D-rings in. And I'm going to start right where those are. All right, guys, here it is. The Everyday Bag by Purses by Holly, releasing today. Go get your pattern, I'm telling you. Huge zipper pocket here on the outside, perfect for cell phones. A nice slip pocket here for cell phones, keys, whatever. Top zipper closure. And an inside 2 slip pockets, a pen pocket and a regular top pocket, and tons of room. Tons of room. And then there are 2 handles and a crossbody strap. So there are 2 sizes. This is the regular size. And then there is a small. So you don't have to do a crossbody. You could just make the handles longer or the same length. and they'll be fine. It's really a personal preference, but this is a nice slip pocket here. And then on the back, a really nice zipper pocket. Glitter vinyl from Mormino. And then this is from somebody, boy, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. I got it at a expo. I met the gal. What is her name? Oh, gosh. I'll look it up and put it on there. Really beginner friendly, I would say. Really choose your fabrics wisely. I wouldn't use glitter vinyl again for this. I like glitter vinyl and it's very pretty, but it's very sticky. So, and it's pretty thick, really. The Everyday Bag by Purses by Holly. Very cute. This is a perfect size. It's not huge. I'd call this a medium tote, really. Thanks for watching. Go get your pattern. Make sure you do a thumbs up.